At WFM Labs, our organization recognizes the importance of gaining market insights to compete effectively and provide better goods and services to our customers. However, exchanging price or commercially sensitive information with competitors can violate antitrust laws and harm competition. To avoid antitrust risk, it is essential to ensure that information exchanges in the WFM Labs community are reasonable and promote competition. This includes avoiding discussions or coordination of sensitive topics such as customer prices, pricing paid to vendors, compensation paid to employees, or proprietary information. If you would like more information, please refer to the guidelines outlined by the FTC and DOJ, Antitrust Guidelines for Collaborations Among Competitors. In addition, WFM Labs meetings are being recorded. By continuing to be in the meeting, you are consenting to be recorded. And finally, we ask that all participants review and comply with our code of conduct. Thank you.
Welcome to WFM Labs. I'm Ted Lango, and I'm joined by Jim Simmons, a co-founder of our organization. Prior to jumping into today's agenda, we wanted to take a minute and review the disclaimer we just presented. Jim, you want to share some thoughts on this disclaimer that we've developed for the community?
Sure, Ted, thanks. So, we took some time to make sure that as we, build around this organization, we recognize the fact that we can start, overlapping from an industry perspective. So while we're all involved in the call center, we certainly recognize that there's a potential that other banks and different types of institutions will be a part of this, hopefully, at some point. So as we grow, we certainly want to avoid any perception that there's any types of collusion or fixing. And it's important for members to recognize as we go throughout the process that they adhere to their company's policies when discussing types of information that may fall within these guidelines. So we want to make sure that this is really a critical part of what we kick off with and remember every time that this group gets together.
Thanks, Jim. And I'll just add, in addition to the antitrust guidelines, we've got the consent to record these meetings, the weekly webinars that we do, along with the monthly workshops. We will record those and look to post them so that other members who aren't able to join can come back and review the recording. Today, we're kicking it off with our launch video. We have new members, but we suspect new members will continue to come in over time, and this will give them a resource to go back and watch rather than hold introductory videos every time we have new members. And finally, from our code of conduct, we've developed a code of conduct as members. We really want everyone to be able to take part of the community, feel free to participate. We ask that you review the code of conduct. We do pledge to support a community that really is very open, welcoming, diverse, inclusive, healthy community. It's going to take really diverse opinions around things, people's points of view, and we want to respect those. We really want to foster a very open community. So let's cover our agenda on this first session. Again, I'm Ted Lango, joined with one of our co-founders, Jim Simmons. We're two of the founders of WFM Labs. We launched WFM Labs last week, and we're excited to present the first of these weekly webinars where we'll cover a range of topics on next generation WFM practices. As a brand new community, we'll spend some time today just introducing you to the community. On the agenda, we'll cover our mission. We'll give a brief overview of WFM Labs and the initial resources that we've built for the community. In addition to that, we will present our governance model and introduce you to the founding members, share our community goals, upcoming events, and then we'll take a brief tour of the community site and our wiki and leave a little bit of time for any Q&A. Because these sessions are going to be recorded and we'll have differing levels of participation over time. We've got people spread out across time zones, lots of conflicts with people not able to attend these. That's why we want to record them. But if you have questions, in addition to Q&A in the live session, we really encourage you just to post questions clarification right there in the community site that we'll show you. So let's start with our mission. Jim, you want to give an overview of what we're setting out to do here?
Sure thing. I'm not going to read this verbatim, but I want to make sure that everybody understands our goal in this organization is to really bring together this user-first perspective on workforce management. And as part of that, we really want to shift the paradigm a little bit and start thinking about how the industry has changed, and we can put an agent-first focus. As you look at the industry today, it's very product-led, right? There's a lot of different products out there that serve the needs of the industry. However, it doesn't feel like there's an opportunity to lead those product developers based off of input from a diverse group like this. So we really felt that it was a great time, especially post-COVID, as the dynamic has shifted within workforce management, whereas historically everybody was physically located in call centers and management was much more effective and visible. Now that we're dispersed, things have really changed, and putting that agent first focus is critical, and rethinking how we do things that have been embedded in our past is the only way that we're going to move forward and really drive some of the changes that we think are important to this process within the industry.
That's our mission, is really to shake things up. A number of us got together late last year and came up with this idea of a community approach. As Jim said, at time post-COVID, it's ripe for change. We've been doing workforce the same way, in my mind, for the last 20 years, and it's time for a change. So we got together and we said, well, we're going to launch a community and put together some resources. I'll give you a quick highlight of the resources that we have so far. There'll be additional resources as we build the community out, but so far we've got a homepage. That's our doormat, just very simple place that you can point people to if they want to understand a high level what WFM Labs is all about. We've built a community site, which is what we just opened up last week, and now we're inviting members to join our community, and that's where a lot of the discussion will take place, is right on the site itself. And then we have set up something that we're calling the lab. It really is a wiki where we're going to be sharing these best practices, or what we believe are the next best practices around workforce management, using the wiki to collaborate as well. An important thing about that is that we've set it up as an open source resource. If you see something out there and you want to take it, remix it, adapt it to your operation, you're welcome to. We're presenting that material as open source. Those are the initial 3 resources we've built. We've established a governance model that's a hybrid model. Really, we're calling it a duocracy with a corporate sponsorship. Duocracy models tend to focus less on the formal and elaborate governance conventions, more on those who do the work really make the decisions on how the community moves forward. At our launch, we've established 4 primary roles. I'm going to be playing the role of the chair for the first year here, and Jim volunteered to be co-chair. We also have roles of moderators and then members. We're sponsored by Intradiem. A duocracy or a hybrid model is a duocracy with a sponsorship, a corporate sponsorship. That helps us fund some of the things that we'll be doing between events and resources that we can present the community. And these are our founding members of WFM Labs. It's really a cross-section of people who've contributed many years to helping contact centers across a wide range of industries and functions. We're not only a collection of workforce management professionals, but we seek input from contact center operators and from the wide range of functions that support contact center operations. HR, learning and development, if you've played a role in contact center technology, if you played a tactical role, a strategic role, or both. We're interested in diverse opinions on how to really reshape not just workforce management, but how that can influence contact centers. Most important, we seek people who are really looking for change and who want to discuss new ways to solve some of these legacy problems that continue to haunt us today. We also are a governance organization where if you want to play a role as a moderator or help contribute in some deeper way, a lot of work behind running a community, just raise your hand. We're absolutely looking for additional people who can help us bring this community to life.
So, like I was saying, with a new organization like this, our real first big goal is growth, right? It's very nascent at this point in time, and we're looking for members. We're looking to diversify. We like lots of different voices, and that's going to be our key focus. I know, Ted, you've mapped out a very aggressive timeline for how do we get involvement. So obviously, when you start growing, you need content, and that's where experiment comes in. Again, there's a lot of knowledgeable people out there, and the ability to share information and talk through processes, especially as we talk about things like forecasting and shift to digital and those types of things that everybody's facing in the call center environment. Giving them room to work within and a place and a space to do that and interact with others and not be very siloed is critical. And then dispersing that. And really, if you think about it, that's where that cycle comes from. Once folks start sharing this information and distributing that, that's how we expect this community to grow. Nothing like this starts, quickly. But it's important to make sure that we put some milestones out there, we manage to those milestones, and as much as possible, participate as a group.
Thanks, Jim. And as it is a brand new community, it'll start small, and we'll get it growing as we move forward here. Really encourage as the initial members come on board, you to invite your coworkers and peers. Again, it'll take that diverse set of opinions, those viewpoints about, hey, we've tried this in the past and it worked or didn't work. We're interested in hearing from everybody, not just on the new ideas, but things that you may have tried in the past but haven't worked. I mean, that's valuable input as well. The framework that Jim just covered really starts with these weekly Wednesday webinars or Wednesday weekly webinars. We'll hold a session. It'll be a 50-minute block, although I imagine quite often it'll run less than that. We'll keep it to 30 minutes or less of actual content. Really, this is to get the conversation started. These early weekly events will essentially support deeper discussion in our monthly workshops. This very first event that we're recording today is just an introduction and an overview. So again, we'll post this session and we'll post our future sessions so that if you're not able to participate, you can go back and watch. If you're brand new to the community a month from now, you're probably watching this first session to get a sense of what the community is all about. Next week, we'll hold a session on what the drivers are behind the need for change. Week 3, start to look at some of the principles and the new WFM maturity model. And then these sessions, while they're conversation starters to get the mind flowing around what's possible, really where the work takes place is in our monthly workshops. And this is where we're going to encourage really a piece of presentation where we'll chew on an idea and present an idea. A little bit longer sessions, 90 minutes, less than half that time presenting. But then the other half of the time is where we'll roll up our sleeves and discuss, debate new approaches to solve problems that are still left unanswered today. These workshops are where the work will take place. We'll get together, really debate ideas. The very first one I've laid out is the next generation maturity curve and what those stages look like. We want to have a healthy debate of, hey, is this the future of what that maturity curve looks like? How do I really judge where I am and what the future of really world-class workforce management looks like? And as you see, we'll go throughout the year and we'll start to dissect topics that we believe are a good draft for a framework for the next generation of workforce. But really that's the goal in the workshops and coming together as a community, is to leverage this work to rethink how we've done things and come up with a new approach. So now just a quick tour, and I'm gonna click around a little bit on the screen just to show people who are joining the community, who are new, what we've laid out again for resources. As I mentioned earlier, We have a home page, we have a community page, and we also have the wiki itself. The homepage is just what you can refer people to if they want to take a glance and ultimately say, what's this about? The future of workforce management, WFMLabs.org. And essentially there's all of 3 pages as of today. We may build more content as we go forward, but WFM Labs essentially talks about what our vision is and how we're reinventing the next generation of workforce management in that employee first mindset. We also believe that, we have to go out and change the way we've done capacity planning and leverage automation. I'll say also, we've also got down here our code of conduct, if you want to take a look at the code of conduct itself, and an about page that goes a little bit more in detail. The key thing in getting members on the community, though, will be the community site, and that's where join comes in. You're welcome to extend invites, but if someone just came and wanted to join, they can submit a request themselves. Once they're in, they'll ultimately end up seeing our community website or our community site where we'll exchange ideas. Again, yours may look different. You can customize all of this for a light background, a dark background. We've got a feed section where you'll be able to see articles and things that we're posting. A discovery section, you'll be able to figure out the members and who all is in the community. And then we built some initial channels or spaces on the community itself. A general one for anything that you wish to post that's just general in nature. As we go deeper into next generation workforce management standards, we'll be posting that content out here. We've also set up a channel called Q Time News. We drop on daily news if there's something blowing up in the industry that we think is important that may impact contact volumes or staffing. We drop that content in here. And then we've set up a WFM resource site. I've posted a few things just to get the thing started in terms of articles that you may find valuable to share or resources that you've found valuable in the past. If you're a member of the governance board, you'll also see a channel called Community Management. If you're not a member of that, that channel won't appear. I'd also highlight up here under events, this is where we'll post our weekly events, and as well, we'll start to post the monthly events on here so that you know when we're hosting those workshops themselves. Finally, the last event that I wanted to share with everyone today and to wrap us up here is the Wiki. I'll just type in wiki.wfm labs and you'll see a traditional media wiki page. If you've spent any time on Wikipedia, this will probably look familiar. This is where we've started to draft future WFM playbook itself. We're going out and looking at new goals, roles, processes, interpersonal relationships, the technology of the future, and really starting to draft out what do these next generation processes look like in budgeting, in real time, in our scheduling practices. And we've started to outline a new approach. This is a draft, and this is what we'll be working on editing, ultimately come up with the next generation workforce management practices. If you are a member of the governance group, you'll have access to this. We are keeping access to this, though restricted, so that we don't end up with vandalism on the wiki site itself. If you do wish to have access to the wiki and you want to contribute, simply ping any of us on the governance group, myself, Jim, or anyone, and we can set you up with an account. Having the account to the community site itself doesn't grant you immediate access to editing in here. However, anyone can go in to wiki.wfmlabs.org. And again, as I mentioned, this is all licensed under Creative Commons. It's open source. If you see something in here and you want to grab it, adapt it to your own practices, feel free to. So that's a quick spin of the community site and wiki. And that really wraps us up for today. I'll also encourage anyone watching the recording to post questions in the community. Happy to respond and clarify anything that you may have a question on. All right. Well, Jim, thank you for co-hosting with me. And again, everyone watching this, if you have questions in the future, feel free, just to post them right in the community. As I said, we'll be doing this every week, short. Generally, we're under 30 minutes today to take time. If you can't join us, we encourage you to watch the videos. We'll produce these and cut them down so that you can consume them right through the community if you aren't able to join us. Welcome, everybody. Again, thank you for joining us. Please invite your peers. We're growing the community. It's brand new, and we look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
Thanks, Ted.